Hey students, happy first day of school and welcome to second grade. This is Mr. Moran. I couldn't be with you guys today. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to be here for probably 2 weeks. I'm still working at another school and I'm working with fifth graders. But when I finish up, I'll be coming to Chatham Grove and I'll be teaching you guys. I thought I'd share a book with you today. It's called A Camping Spree with Mr. Magee. You can probably tell by looking around the room that I enjoy camping, and that's kind of our theme for this year. We do a lot of stuff that has to do with camping. So I thought I'd read this book to you today, and I might even get you to do a little bit of writing about it when we get done. So let's check this out. Early one morning at 7:03, Mr. Magee and his little dog Dee packed up the camper and hitched up the load, hopped in the Rambler, and then hit the road. They drove to the mountains far from the sea for 2 nights of camping, or possibly 3. I wonder how many of you guys have ever been camping. There's nothing like camping, said Mr. Magee. I know you'll love it. Just you wait and see. The views are fantastic. There's hardly a sound. Aside from the wildlife, there's no one around. And the air is so sweet, you'll sleep like a log, said Mr. Magee to his small spotted dog. I used to take my dog camping with me. A few hours later, they took a sharp right and found a great spot to lay camp for the night. It was high on a hill with a beautiful view of Mount Adams, Mount Lincoln, and Jefferson, too. But perhaps the most wonderful feature of all was the brook that ran over a steep waterfall. Dee gathered pine cones and branches and logs. Magee made a campfire and cooked some hot dogs. And as the sun set behind far distant knolls, they sat roasting marshmallows over the coals. I wonder if you guys have ever roasted marshmallows before. I thought about roasting some of those treats that I left for you guys the other night. I kept one for myself. As the emperors went down, they felt tired and dozy. They climbed in their bunks, all comfy and cozy. But while they were falling asleep without care, along came a stumbling, bumbling bear. A kindly old bear whose sight wasn't so clear. He couldn't see far, and he couldn't see near. But he could smell marshmallows, sticky and sweet. The smell made him hungry, and he wanted a treat. And what do you think that bear is going to do next? He sniffed out the place where the marshmallows lay, but the car and the camper were in the bear's way. Yet that didn't stop the sneaky old snitch. He simply tried squeezing right under the hitch. And as he was shimmying into the gap, he pushed up the hitch, which let go with a snap. Oh boy, I wonder what's going to happen to the camper now. Now that the camper and the car were untied, they started to roll down the rocky hillside. The car bounced away on the old logging road, while the camper was heading to where the stream flowed. It flew down the hill in a wild, bumpy ride, with Dee and Magee sleeping soundly inside. Oh boy, it doesn't look good. They were snoring and snoozing, enjoying a dream, when splash went the camper right into the stream. I wonder if that woke them up. The splash shook the camper. They bumped out of bed. Now what in the world was that? Magee said. And when he looked out and saw where they were, his hair stood on end, and so did Dee's fur. They were caught in the rapids, but that wasn't all. They were headed smack dab for the big waterfall. Dee and Magee both started to quiver as faster and faster they headed downriver. But just when they thought they'd fall over the edge, you guys have an idea what might happen next? Let's see. Their camper got stuck on a rock at the ledge. So there they were, stranded. Magee and his pup on the top of a waterfall 50 feet up. That is a long ways down. Meanwhile, the nearsighted bear from before was searching one little marshmallow more. When lo and behold, as if out of a dream, he spied something sweet floating over the stream. But what the bear thought was a marshmallow treat was really the hitch and not something to eat. All right, guys, what do you think the bear is going to do next? Looks like a marshmallow, doesn't it? The bear was determined to capture his prize, so he jumped in the water right up to his thighs. He splashed through the stream to the edge of the fall. He snatched up the trailer hitch, camper and all. I hope he pulls him off that ledge. Dee felt a tug. Magee heard a knock as the bear pulled the camper right off of the rock. He dragged them both all the way back to the bank when he realized the hitch was not so sweet, but quite rank. He spit out the hitch and left in dismay, while Magee and Dee's camper again rolled away. It flew down the path with a jolt and a jar and stopped in some bushes right next to the car. Dee popped her head up. Magee looked out too. Had they really stopped rolling? Could it be true? At last things were quiet and peaceful and still. They hooked up the hitch and they drove off down the hill. And on the way home, Magee said to Dee, "That trip wasn't quite like I thought it would be." So when they got home, with the sky turning red, what do you guys think he did when he got home? They decided to camp in the backyard instead. All right. Okay, guys. Hey, listen, I want you to think about this for a second. Mr. Magee had quite an adventure with his dog. This summer, did you guys have any great adventures? Do anything really fun? I want you to spend a little bit of time thinking about that, and then I'd like for you to write me a short story about an adventure that you had this summer. And maybe you can share it with the class. Okay, and I'd love to hear it when I get back. So spend a little while thinking about an adventure you had this summer and then write a short story about it. I think I left some papers in the classroom that you guys can actually write on. So maybe your teacher will pass those out and you can write me a short story. Okay, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. Enjoy being a second grader, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow, and I've got a new book to share with you. Have a great day.